In this lesson, I'm going to give the most basics of how to view things in Maya and how to control your windows, and just give you a basic overview of how to, once you start up Maya, and if this is the first time you're ever working with something or you're very new to Maya, how to deal with your window controls. So the key thing is this is a 3D program. So your whole screen is, your 3D world. And as you can see, by default, there's a grid. This is a Cartesian grid. And basically this is your floor, and there's got two axes depending on which axes you have set up, but it's usually an X and Y axes. And what the key thing is viewing, is moving your camera around. So here we are in our big window here, we're actually viewing. We have a camera here, basically our eyes are a camera. But if I want to like move around in the screen, then what you need to do is a combination of using keyboard keys and your mouse. So on a PC, you can use your Alt, or on a Mac, you can use your Option key and your left mouse button. This will let you tumble your model around. So you can see things, you can move things around in 3D. All right. So the next thing is then we're going to do something called panning, which is moving side to side. So then what you'll use is your Alt or your Option key and your middle mouse button. And as you see, it'll go side to side. Now, the next thing will be dollying, which is basically zooming. So what you can do is your Alt or your Option key and your right mouse button. So when you go in and out, when you see your mouse is going up and down, that zooms in on the model. Now what I'll do is I'm going to put a small object in the screen here. I'm going to go up here. This is the shelf. We'll get into more detail in these later, but this is a shelf, and these are some 3D objects you can get to quite easily. So I'm going to start with a cube. So now you see a cube has come into the screen here. So it's a little far off. It's off in the distance here. So there's a couple ways we can zoom on things. So what we'll do is, again, we use the Alt, right mouse button, or your Option if you're on a Mac, and you can zoom in. Now it's zoomed a little over, so now I can take my Alt or Option key and a middle mouse button. I can move it over, I can center it there. Or if you have a scroll wheel on your mouse too, you can use that as well. That will also dolly. Okay, and there's another trick here too. We're not going to get too much into hotkeys in this lesson, but if you press your F key, that is what you call framing an object. So now your object is framed. So now it is selected. If it's green, if you see this green highlight there, it means it's selected. If I press off in the distance, it's not selected. So now I'm going to tumble around. So I'm going to hit Alt or Option, left mouse button, and I'm going to move it around like so. Okay, there you go. So now we've seen the basic controls on our model here. And what I'm going to do now too is we're in a series of windows here as well. This is a 3D program, and this follows pretty much the standards of CAD programs. So the way to get to different kind of windows is this is what we call a perspective window. But usually in CAD programs, you'll have multiple windows, orthogonal windows. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the space bar. If I hit the space bar, now you'll see we have 4 windows here. And I'm also going to press the F key to frame in each one of these windows. Okay. So now what that is, we can see on the tops of all these, or the bottoms actually, you can see here, it'll tell you what window you're in. So this is the perspective window, this is the side window, this is our front, and this is our top. So this is how we'll know what window we're in. And each one of these is independently controlled. So I can go to my top window and I can press the Alt or Option key and I can dolly out. I can do the same in the front window. I can do the same in the side window. So, and these all correspond to the different faces on the different sides of our cube here. So that's the most basic way you can actually view models in Maya and have your most basic view controls. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to the perspective window and I'm going to hit the space bar. Okay, so that will take me to this window by itself. Again, you can also do this in any window you want. Like if you want to be just in your side view, you can hit the space bar. Hit space bar and it zooms out again. And you get all windows, all 4 windows. And I'll finish up at the perspective window here. All right, so that's the basics of viewing a cube and using your mouse controls for view. And we will be getting into the other Maya interface items as we go.